everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about hygiene. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 common hygiene mistakes that we make. These mistakes are so common, and like even I was guilty of some of them as early as just a few years ago. They are so common, and a lot of the times we do not even know that they are mistakes. I'm going to cover everything from personal hygiene to feminine hygiene in this video, and it's such an important video for me, and I know that a lot of you are really going to appreciate it. So let us start. So the first mistake I have here is hair removal. And when I say hair removal, I mean not removing hair from certain parts of your body as often as you can. And guys, I know that hair removal can be a bit controversial here on the internet. Like, a lot of people just do not like the amount of like pressure that comes with it when it comes to women. Like, hair is also on parts of our body for a reason. I completely agree with that. There's also a lot of it being like men wanting hair on certain parts of women's body, or not wanting hair on some parts of our bodies, and I understand how frustrating and annoying that can be. But a lot of things I'm going to explain when it comes to this particular point is coming from a very, very personal place, and it's all tried and tested. Okay, so I live in the tropics. I live in Nigeria. It's very hot, it's very humid here. People who come from this part of the world and live in this part of the world, we sweat more than people who come from other parts. So it's a thing, like we actually sweat more. So for this particular point, I'm speaking directly to people who found that they struggle with odors, people who have used like the biggest, strongest, best antiperspirants that you have in the market, but you're still kind of struggling when it comes to this. I would highly recommend that you should consider removing hair from your immediate underarm as often as you can. And this is because with a lot of deodorants or perspirants, it doesn't matter if it's the regular type or the aluminum-free type or the natural type, they are more effective most of the time if like there is no thick layer of hair between like them and your immediate underarm. Okay, I've found that I've been using like aluminum free deodorants more often now. I use them as everyday type deodorants, and I use kind of regular deodorants when I know that I'll be sweating a lot or when I'm wearing certain fabrics. And not having hair helps. They are more effective, they get there, they do what needs to be done. So I'd highly recommend that if you've tried all the big powerful deodorants and you still struggle, please consider removing hair from your immediate underarm. It's going to help you. It just helps deodorant a lot if that is the case. And if you have a lot of hair in this area and you're not washing it as well as you should, bacteria can build up, and these bacteria can also lead to certain types of odors. So consider hair removal in this area. You can shave, you can wax. I personally prefer waxing, so I would highly recommend waxing. So but however way you decide to take hair out this part of your body, please do it and see. You will be surprised that you might see significant improvement. Second common mistake I hear of all the time is women who use like very floral, flowery, like harsh body washes and stuff like that to wash down there. Water works. Okay, we have people who are specialists in this area, doctors even sharing that water gets the job done. If you feel that you must use soap, I'd highly recommend you use something mild. There's this bar of soap from Simple that I use. Dove has some very mild soap, but I would even say look specifically for things that are targeted at people with sensitive skin, just things that are very, very mild. But there is no reason why you should be using anything harsh, anything very, very, very soapy. Some of these feminine washes, they are an issue. Okay, you don't really need some of them at all. Okay, just be careful what you're using down there. And the reason is because it's self-cleaning. That part of your body is self-cleaning, and you have good bacteria, you have bad bacteria. You don't want to use things that will go and kill off all the good bacteria. That actually keeps that area stable and helps it get like clean itself. And once that happens and you keep getting rid of all the good bacteria, it's easier for just like to have bad bacteria overgrowth, for example, or things that would lead to certain types of odors. Okay, so number 3, again, I'm still talking about down here. I'd say also consider removing hair, just like I explained for underarm. You don't necessarily need to remove everything. You can trim, you can leave a strip, but you also don't want to have a lot of hair down there. You also don't want an environment where certain types of bacteria can grow on, especially if you're also not taking the time to wash all that hair out properly. Okay, I would say consider trimming. And with that said, I'll also highly recommend that When it comes to choice of underwear, if you feel like you're struggling with orders down there, please gravitate towards cotton. Cotton is tried and tested. It's a very breathable type of fabric. Synthetic materials, personally, I don't even like the way they feel. So synthetic materials, I'm not a big fan of them. They are not the most breathable types of fabrics, and they can also trap certain things, trap certain odors. You do not want that. So I'd highly recommend breathable fabrics for underwear. Please consider that if you're someone who struggles with odors down there. If you've now done kind of everything that I've touched on in this video for that area and you're still kind of struggling, then maybe you might consider seeing a doctor and just kind of, you know, listen and see what feedback they give. But consider hair removal first, at least trimming, washing properly, like groom that area properly, and choice of fabric when it comes to underwear matters a lot. Number 4 goes without saying, but showering morning and night. Like I said again, tropics, especially also if you have acne prone skin. If you're prone to breakouts and your skin is oily on your face or your chest, or even deal with body acne, cleaning and washing at least 2 times a day, washing off all the grime, washing off all the dirt, washing off all the oil, just helps your skin overall in general. So I'd say shower at least 2 times a day. Okay, the 5th mistake that I see a lot of people making is not changing your pillowcase and your bed sheets as often as you can. Guys, I change my pillowcases, my bed sheets in general, and my towels once a week. That's minimum. There's so many reasons. Let me kind of tackle the towels first, because some of you are going to be like, oh, Dimma, every week for towels, but towels only come in contact with clean skin. Guys, when you actually wash and you use towels all over your body, your towels come in contact with and accumulate dead skin cells. Okay, and if these dead skin cells are on these towels and you spread them in your bathroom, for example, so they don't even come in contact with direct sunlight, they kind of dry in the bathroom, and in some cases maybe if there's no good ventilation, it's not even drying out properly. Guys, bacteria can accumulate. Definitely, okay, it will accumulate. You need to wash these things thoroughly at least once a week. Bed sheets and pillowcases, the same thing. If you have acne prone skin, sometimes you're breaking out. One of the first things that the dermatologist will recommend when you actually go to see a doctor, they ask you how often you change your bed sheets and your pillowcases, and if you're not doing it often, they would recommend that you start doing it often. Why? Because dead skin cells, the same thing as well. There's a lot of dirt and oil that gets trapped into the fabric of your pillowcase. Like on a daily basis, every time you lay your head, you come in contact with these sheets a lot, okay? And a lot of the things that are on your skin, they're just trapped on the sheet. So you have to actually wash as often as possible. If your sheets are dirty, if your pillowcases are dirty, it can actually lead to breakouts for you. There's actually also a lot of oil on our hair, and like, just, you need to wash your pillowcases. Like, it's long. Even sometimes, like, doctors have even said that there's a lot of bacteria that you get in the mouth, and a lot of people have, like, they drool onto their pillowcases when they sleep, and this is bacteria that is in your mouth, kind of gets into the pillowcase, and then they get on your face. You need to wash your pillowcases as often as possible. I'd say once a week, change your sheets, your towels. People will even say 2 to 3 days, but let's just say that some of the things I'm saying in this video is just too much for some people. I will say wash your sheets and wash your towels at least once a week. Change them out. You're going to, if you're someone who is dealing with skin irritation, even breakouts, or you're struggling with certain things when it comes to your skin and your body overall, changing sheets, washing them once a week, changing towels, washing them once a week helps. It's very important. Then number 6 is not cleaning common objects as often as you can. So when I say common objects, I mean door handles, things that you use all the time, like your phone, for example. Guys, like, I see people who clean their houses top to bottom on a daily basis, and the door handles, especially when you have strangers come into your house, or when you have people who come to work come into your house, they turn and they twist your door handles. And I know that a lot of us actually even started paying more attention to them during the pandemic, during COVID, but COVID has come and gone now. Actually, COVID is still kind of alive and still affecting people, like, you know, once in a while. I would say these days, not as often as before, but guys, okay, that's not what this is about. My thing is, clean your door handles. clean things that people come in contact with. If there's a door in your house that does not have a handle that maybe people need to push to open, disinfect and clean. And it's as simple as using like liquid hand sanitizers, things like this. Just spray it all over, wipe down. I find it mind-boggling when people will go out. It's like you go to the bank and sometimes like you hand your phones over to people that you meet, or you go to the airports, like when you're like in Nigerian airports, like when you're boarding a local flight and they're asking you for your booking reference, they don't even want you calling it out most times. These people ask you to hand over your phone. So you hand your phone over to people that you don't know what they've done and not done that day, like, and you just carry on using that phone, not factoring in the fact that people who you do not know have touched something that belongs to you. Aside COVID, you can also get the flu or a lot of viral infections via this route. Or you give someone your phone to talk to somebody and they're talking and spitting their saliva. Like, there's so many things. Please clean your phone. Once I come back from anywhere, one of the first things, I just go outdoors, or I come from a place where I've handled materials that I know that other people have been in contact with, and I reach for my phone while I'm out and all of that. One of the first things I disinfect when I come back home is my phone. Very, very important. Phone, door handles, just objects that a lot of people come in contact with when you leave your house. I'd say disinfect. Once you come back home, disinfect. Once you get into the car, disinfect. It's very important. Number 7 is not washing your makeup brushes. If you're breaking out, it's also one of those questions you get immediately. When was the last time you washed your makeup brushes? Bacteria accumulate, they grow on these things. You have to wash your brushes as often as possible and make sure that they dry properly before you use them again. Very important. Disinfect things, clean them thoroughly. Like, it's important because these things go on your body. Another thing again that goes without saying that I'm putting in this same category is sharing your makeup with people. Guys, you don't know what other people have on their body, you don't know what they have on your face. Sharing lipsticks, sharing things, like even sharing lipsticks, you can easily get like even viral infections or glosses and stuff like that. There are things that I honestly think that you should not be sharing with people. I think that makeup is one of them, and your brushes as well. Just make sure you clean. You don't know what people have on their bodies, on their faces, for people who share makeup. So just be very, very careful. And your brushes, wash them. I would say at least after 1 week of use, especially if you wear makeup often throughout the week. And even if you wear it 1 or 2 times, the makeup is also sitting in the open. If you sweep your house, you don't know how dust flies around and it settles into these things. So I'd say if they're sitting on a surface, like just laid out the way brushes tend to sit, they're also accumulating dust as well. You need to just wash them at least once a week, guys. Or get like a spot cleaning brush cleaner as well. If you feel like washing it and taking it to the sink is a lot of work, get a spot cleaner, spray it. MAC has some very good ones. MAC is expensive. There are other brands that don't have expensive ones. Spot clean your brushes, guys. Very important. Number 8, okay? I remember coming across this on TV, I think maybe about 12-13 years ago. I was watching the Oprah show, like a rerun on Mnet then, and I saw on the Oprah Winfrey show at the time, and someone came on and I said this and my mind was blown. And it is basically not closing your toilet before flushing, especially if this toilet is a place where a lot of other personal hygiene items are set up or displayed, your toothbrush, your loofahs, and all of that. Guys, when I say I was mind blown, but this is something I've taken seriously since then. I never flush an open toilet, especially inside my house. When you flush an open toilet, there are so many things that the water shoots into the air that you can't see with your bare eyes. And people actually get sick like this when you flush the toilet and some of the bacteria kind of settles on your toothbrush and you put the toothbrush in your mouth and you brush your teeth. It's a no-no. So I'd highly recommend, please, if you're actually flushing your toilet in your bathroom, please make sure that the lid is closed. Don't just flush it, especially if your toothbrush is in the same room, especially if your loofah is in the same room. Just make sure that you close the lid before you flush. It's very, very, very important. If you actually go on YouTube here and see videos that show, like I think maybe with LED lights, I don't know how they do it, where they actually show what shoots into the air when your toilet is flushed in a dark room, you will never, ever flush an open toilet in your life again. So please make sure that your toilet lid is closed before you flush. Very, very important. Number 9 is something I remember. I learned this in 2014, and it's basically avoiding hand dryers in public bathrooms. Okay? It's in the same WhatsApp group as toilet plumes still, but like they are the easier, faster, and sometimes the only option we have sometimes in public bathrooms. But I would rather use tissue paper from my bag to clean my hands after I've washed now than put my hand under one of those dryers. Those things are not good at all. So basically the hand dryer sucks up all these germs, right, from the contaminated toilet air that people are just flushing anyhow with that. And so most of the time these stalls are open on top, right, and they just suck up all of that, and when you put your hand, they just deliver it onto your hands. Not a good idea at all. If you have the option of paper towels and then there's a hand dryer, I would highly recommend that you always go for the paper towels. Use that to dry your hands and not the toilet dryers. Not a big fan of them. I remember after I read a report about this in 2014, I just avoid them. Like, I avoid them mostly. Like, not good at all. I know that the dryers are kind of marketed to be the more eco-friendly option, but yeah, they're distributing things that they've just trapped, and that's not good. The last mistake I see a lot of people make, and this one is so common, is not replacing your bathing sponge or your loofah. You should change your loofahs at least every month, and I'm looking at this from an economic situation. These sponges, like I've also explained the whole thing about a towel, ventilation and all of that, they can remain damp for a very long time before they even eventually dry. Okay, so they are damp-ish, right, and dead skin cells and bacteria from the toilet possibly, and they're not getting adequate sunlight and all of that. They're not things that you want to have around for like an indefinite period of time. So make a conscious effort to actually change them. At least just write them down at least once a month. Most of the time it will cost you about 200 or 300 naira to get a new sponge. Please just consider doing it and putting it down and factoring that in. So guys, like I told you guys, these mistakes are so common. If you're making any of them, consider adjusting. If you know someone who is making them, please consider sharing this video with them, or just share this video with them. I believe that they will find this video helpful. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to me if you're not yet subscribed. I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah.